So, you read the title. Let's get into it. Um, what are the best ways to kill your guild? So, the first one I'm going to start with is having no clear goal or direction. This is one way to kill it actually before it even gets off the ground. So, when someone joins your guild, they're establishing a relationship between themselves and the guild. And this relationship, it's gonna need reasons to flourish, right? Imagine you were on a first date and you got asked, what's one main goal that you have in life? And you respond with, I don't know. If you weren't able to answer that question, then the other person isn't really gonna have any idea like where's your ship headed, you know? And if it makes sense for them to set sail with you. So having any direction is honestly better than, not having a direction. Um, and you're gonna need this for new and existing members that join your guild so that everyone is aware what the goal is, right? Like, hey, the reason I'm on this ship is because we're sailing to this destination, and all these other people on the ship, they have the same reason to be headed there, right? So, that's gonna help. Once people have a common goal, you can band together and say, hey, we're headed in this way. What are some things we can do to make this easier, make the sailing smooth, right? So, yeah, when I started my guild, the goal was literally to kill KT. That was my goal. I played in 2019 and I was only parts of guilds, and I ended up losing my characters to this version of the game, Cataclysm. And Hardcore was popping off at the time. I think this is like 2022, something like that. A lot of people playing Classic Era. And I was like, you know what? I didn't get to finish my Thunder Fury, so I want to start over on Alliance side because I played Horde back in 2019. And yeah, I formed a guild. Well, things happened before I formed a guild, but that's like story for a different video. And I ended up forming a guild, and I was like, I want to clear KT. I want to progress through the content and get to that point. But there's a lot of people I recruited along the way. They never even raided in Classic before. So it was like people experiencing things for the first time. And yeah, it was exciting for them. And there's many steps along the way before you reach the goal. It's like you can see the summit of the mountain, but there's so many steps to get to that point. And while climbing, having these goals helps you remember, okay, why am I climbing? What's the end goal that we're reaching, right? So yeah, that's that point. Um, Perseverance is a big part of, continuing to take the steps. And each guild is going to be different. So figure out what you want when you create your guild, and that's going to be a big help in, you know, figuring out your goal. Like why am I making this guild? Why should people join this guild and want to be a part of my group or this guild and what we're achieving? So there's legit like RP guilds. They do races at level one, transmog events. They do competitions, and they probably never raid. But there's people out there in WoW that want something like that, which is fine. So your guild doesn't have to clear endgame content like mine did. So anyhow, um, what is another way we can kill our guild? So another big one is not fostering a community. So, sure, you can technically buy nine people to sign a guild charter for you, right? And you'll have a guild. But every time you log off the game, your guild essentially won't exist, right? So, community is going to be a first step in, it's like the first building block that you use for any guild. And without it, you can't even participate in the main aspects of the game. It's like an MMO, right? You need people to raid with. You need people to do those transmog competitions with. If you don't have the people, you don't have a guild. So how are you gonna foster this community for your guild? Well, to foster the right community, you're gonna need to recruit people, and like I just mentioned in the first point, who have somewhat of a similar goal. if you have a bunch of people and they don't share the same direction, they aren't, I don't know, headed towards the same place you want to head, then your guild probably won't last very long because people are going to split apart at some point. Hey, I want to do this and that, and this other guild works better for me, or not many people in this guild share the same goal, so I feel like I'm not moving anywhere, right? So that's part of fostering the community. And what's some ways of getting these people? So there's a lot of ways to find people that share your goals, common interests. Like I mentioned, I had a lot of new players when I first made my guild that never raided before. And what do? You run dungeons, you level an alt, you maybe even help out dungeon runs. Like just look at your LFG chat. Hey, need a tank, need a healer for this dungeon. And sometimes I do that. I have a full bis warrior on classic, and it has Thunder Fury everything. And in the earlier days of my guild, well, I didn't have that yet, but I would be good. You can join a random Ubers or LBRS or a random Oni and just tank for them, and people will be like, "Whoa, this guy's full bis. Why is he tanking this dungeon?" You know, and that's a really good point for conversation. You can just be like, you can tell them stories how you got that gear, how you formed the guild, and they'll be like, "That sounds super awesome. I wanna be part of something like that." So a good way to meet new people and recruit is just do random dungeon runs, do random things in the game, and see what people are doing. Just check LFG chat, trade chat. There's random things happening all the time. Build relationships, foster some connection with people in the game. Tell them the goal of your guild. Tell them what you're trying to accomplish. See if it's a new player, bear in mind that you're going to have to invest somewhat in them. You're gonna have to explain, oh, what is raiding? What is a guild? Why should I even do these things? So have patience when talking to new players if you want to recruit. So that's part of getting the people to join your community, and just be understanding when recruiting new people. Another thing is, let's see. Sorry, I wrote notes on this to kind of have an idea and not ramble for too long. So yeah, recruitment is that first stepping stone. What are some signs of a healthy community that we're fostering? What's some things to look out for? So some of these things are gonna be, after you got the people, you start forming connections and bonds with them beyond the game. So like, do you have a group of friends that even if you're not raiding, even if it's not raid day, even if you're not doing a dungeon in game, are they in Discord just getting to know each other better? Are they friends outside of the game? Do they play other games with each other? Can you randomly talk to this person even if it has nothing to do with WoW? Those are some signs that a healthy community is forming and building. So with my guild, I could join any time of day, and there's probably someone in the voice channel I can go talk to. Be like, yeah, this thing is happening in life. Just about anything. Doesn't have to be WoW. That's one part of it. Another part of a healthy community is when people feel comfortable opening up more, when they share more about their life. For example, if someone isn't coming to raid next week, they're like, "Hey, I'm going on vacation. I have a cruise," or it's my wife's anniversary, my girlfriend's anniversary, whatever. Um, they call out, but then they post pictures of the cruise they went on. They post pictures of the restaurant they went to. They share more about their life with people, and that's something that's gonna help people open up more and foster a community, relationships, friendships, connections, right? And guess what? When people go and post this cruise they went on, or this place they visited, this restaurant they went to, that's gonna show to other people like, oh, these people are cool. They have a life. They do things. There's so much more to learn about each other outside of the game. And you know what? The next time they go on a vacation, they go to a restaurant, they are gonna share. Hey, look at this place I went to. Look at this food I ate, and it's just that's the whole community I'm talking about. It's not just the game. Even and by the way, it's fine if you don't care to have that experience outside with the people. Not every guild needs this to be a healthy community. You could just log on raid with your friends and just be friends in the game, and that's fine too. There is no right or wrong way to play the game. I'm just saying if you do see these things, it's probably a good sign for the community and health of your guild. So yeah, that's that point. And yeah, another thing, by the way, with relationships, connections, friendships, building more than just let me put it this way. We tend to see the other people on WoW as just like this virtual entity. They're not real human beings, right? Um, like if I go to Stormwind right now and walk by, I'm gonna see a lot of players, but they don't really mean anything to me. When you build and foster these friendships, interpersonal connections, and all that, it just strengthens the bonds you have with the people in your guild, and that's gonna make you a more solid group. Which is why, by the way, whenever there's loot drama, people who throw away all of this just because of something in the game, to me that's a sign, well, those you never really meant a whole lot to those people anyway. You're just a vehicle that they're driving to get some piece of loot or some personal goal they have, and they don't care for anything outside of that. And I would say you don't have a strong community if everyone thought that way. If everyone was just all about the loot, all about what they can get, them, that's not healthy, I would say. So watch out for those people. Um, yeah, it's a good sign when you see the other people in your guild as people and not just vehicles to achieve your goal or whatnot. Anyway, talk long about this point, so I'll move to my next one, which is another really good way to kill your guild is say yes to everyone and everything. And what does that mean? So saying yes to everyone and everything means let people treat you like a slot machine with an infinite amount of spins free of charge. And again, more it's more an analogy, but um, there's no problem listening to feedback. There's no problem hearing new ideas that might seem nice, might benefit your guild. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't ever let people guilt trip you. Don't ever let people use emotional arguments that are not rational in any sense to make you make decisions that are going to impact your guild as a whole. So, what does emotional arguments or guilt tripping look like? Uh, these are just red flag people, and honestly, one day they'll filter out themselves, or they're just gonna quit because this is what always happens with these types of people. But I can show you some examples of this. They're gonna say things like, "Oh, I deserve this because in real life I have 3 kids and I run a business and I have a wife, and therefore my time it's more valuable than your time and everyone else's time because in real life I matter more than you matter. So I need special priority in the game because my real life I have a way more going on than you do, right? These are some things these people are gonna say. What else will they say? They'll say stuff. If you don't give this other person this, or if you don't give me this, or if you don't do this thing, I'm quitting. Like, that is purely emotional, guys. They don't care about anything. They just want you to make a decision because all they care about is themselves, right? So, yeah, I have 2 examples of what I'm talking about, and I will literally show you some of the stuff these people will type to you. So just give me 1 second here and let's take a look. So these are the 2 examples. I'll just go over example 2 really quickly because as you can see, it's a little bit shorter. These are messages sent by a warrior who, it's not worth his time to farm Earthstrike. Let me just give some context, a little bit of background. In my guild, you have to farm this trinket called Earthstrike before you can roll on Naxxramas trinkets. Why is that? Why do you have to farm Earthstrike to roll on these trinkets? To me, I sort of say it in one of these messages. Let me find it real quick. Right, yeah, right here, sorry. It's not about the item itself. It's showing that you put effort in outside the raid in your own time. You put in the effort to bring something valuable into the raid, and therefore the raid is going to reward you by it's going to reward the time and effort that you put in to get this really good trinket to bring into the raid by giving you priority to roll on those trinkets in the raid. That's pretty much it. So there were 2 people in the past 2 years of running my guild. that had issue with this requirement because again, in real life, their time is more valuable than your time and everyone else's time. So they deserve to roll on it without putting in that extra effort or work, just because in real life they're more valuable. So what are some things they said? To be completely honest, I will probably never get Earthstrike just to replace it with Kiss or Slayer. So they don't even see the value of this in the first place. They're just gonna get Kiss and Slayer's Crest someday, so it's not even worth to get this because they're gonna replace it. By the way, this is factually just incorrect. You can still use Earthstrike even with Kiss and Slayers because there's something called trinket swapping where you go, you fight kill trash, you pop one of your trinkets. Hey, that trinket is on cooldown for 2 minutes. Let's put on a different trinket and then pop that, and then when the first trinket's off cooldown, we put it back on, right? So you can still use it even with the others. So anyway, then attending raids where I can get gear instead of grinding hours of content that isn't necessary or worth my time, I'll just go and do a GDKP. What is a GDKP? I can go in with gold, I can buy loot straight up, there's no requirements, no nothing. You can be highly rewarded in a GDKP if you have gold. Doesn't matter how good you are, what effort you put in to bring to the raid, none of that matters. So they're saying they're gonna go do a GDKP instead of an SR run, which is what my guild system uses. They're just gonna get those trinkets straight up. I don't have 4 or 5 days. I have 3 kids, sports, a business to run. Again, emotional arguments. My time in real life is more valuable than your time. And again, they just quit anyway. If this is a case, I'll just remove myself from raids. I know many people feel this way. They just don't have the balls to tell you to the face. By the way, again, factually incorrect. I asked this person, "Oh, who are these people? Can you speak for them? Like, who? Can you tell me more?" Again, most people do not think this way, which is why we have the rule in the first place. It's fine, I'll just stop attending raids, you can fill my spot. I don't have the time currently to do what you consider is a good use of my time. Movements are absent, yada yada, whatever. By the way, I have personally farmed about 4 or 5 Earth Strikes. It has taken me max 2 to 3 days, a few hours each day, considering you all already have the reputation needed for the trinket. Anyway, yeah, I've found 4 or 5 on my own. It's taken at max 3 days. You don't have to do it in 3 days. You can over the next 2 months, you can spend 1 hour every weekend and get this trinket. So again, this just shows me that this person, they're not willing to invest in the raid. This is the other example. This guy. I just highlighted some because I already spoke a lot on it, but you can read it, pause the video, read it on your own if you want to. But look at some things that this person is saying. Um, you have no idea the sacrifices and hard work put into just being able to play WoW as a dad gamer and a full-on career. Guys, your personal life is your personal life. Inside WoW, I treat everyone equally. That's my personal stance and philosophy. I don't care what is going on in your life in terms of the loot system and the loot rules. The loot system and loot rules do not they're not dictated by each person's personal life. Like that's all well and good. I'm happy you're a dad, you have a career, you have a life. I'm happy for you, but don't use that as arguments as to why you deserve preferential treatment over someone else. It just does not work. No healthy guild is going to be like, guys, he has the highest social status. We should give him all the loot priority. He should be valued way more than everyone else because in real life he's the highest priority person in the world, right? Guys, don't ever let people step on you. Don't ever let people treat you like this. Do not let these arguments affect and persuade you. Um, the sole fact I show up with full consumes and a wealth of experience is rather hard work, bud. Far greater than the work putting into farming a trinket. Brother, if you were so good, you could farm Earthstrike in a weekend. Like, these people just have these pure emotional arguments to tell you why they deserve more loot than everyone else. And I even say, yeah, like, dude, 40 people do the same thing. This is an expectation. It is expected of you to come to raid with consumes, to be prepared, to put the time and effort in. Like you're not more valuable than everyone else just because you're a dad or run a business or have kids. Um, yeah, it takes 2 days to farm a strike, whatever. Let's see again. If you notice the similarity between these types of people, look at this line. This is an obstacle. It just feels forced and a waste of time and resources when I'm not going to A, use it. So he won't even use the airstrike if he farmed it. This stuff just makes no sense. B, replace it rather quickly. It's like I'm doing it to please someone, not because it's a necessity. He's right. You don't need a strike to clear the raid. You don't need it to tank. But guess what? As I said, it's about the effort, guys. It's the dedication. You spent your time outside the raid to bring something in that's valuable. And this guy is like, oh, I'm not even going to use it. I'm just going to replace it instantly. Again, even having a strike, even if you get the other trinkets, you can still use it. It's still valuable. I even say it here, pop it whenever it's up, switch it to a passive trinket when not. And he's a bear tank at the time, so I'm the main tank of my guild. He is gonna DPS some fights. He's not gonna tank certain fights. So he's in cat DPSing. It's gonna be useful to DPS with Earthstrike. Um, oh, this is the kicker, guys. Read this one. And I respectfully disagree about everyone having to sacrifice the same to play WoW. Um, Not everyone is a dad, has a fiance, and not everyone has a serious career. I'm not saying I'm special. Hello? I'm not saying I'm special, brother. You are, but whatever. But depending on your responsibilities will determine the ease of playing WoW. So what this person is telling me is because he's a dad, if he has a fiance, he's running a business, his time is worth more than everyone else. He deserves to roll on something without putting in any effort, any work. Like, he just deserves it, guys, because he has high social status in real life. And these all red flags. Look out for these people in your guild. Do not ever let people dissuade you or persuade you with these types of emotional argument and reasoning if unless you want to kill your guild, of course. And to be honest, I gave some leeway to this person. I let them emotionally persuade me to some extent because this guy, he's a bear tank, a druid, and he would not show up to rend because we play alliance, and to get the rend buff, you need a mind control from horde, right? It wasn't worth his time to get rend because he runs a business, has a kid, fiance, etc., etc. But everyone else needs to get rend though. And every tank, every melee DPS, they just should have rend. It's such a massive buff you're bringing into the raid, and it's the same concept. You spend your time outside the raid to bring something valuable into the raid and help the raid and just increase performance overall. So this guy's like, I'm not getting rend, not worth my time. So I kind of I kind of baited him a little bit. I made a little deal. I'm like, here's what, dude. Show up with Ren buff. I'll let you get one SR, one roll on Kiss. Just bring Ren buff to raid because that's how valuable and important it is. And he agreed. He was like, sure, I'm gonna bring the Ren buff. If that means I can roll on Kiss. So this is already kind of showing me. It's showing me that this person really cares about the loot. He really cares about that item. He's willing to take the very minimal effort needed to bring that Ren buff. So it's like one step of the way there. But I shouldn't have done that in the first place because doing that, guys, was like a Hydra head that I caught off and three more spawned. What were the other Hydra heads? They were a lot of people they disagreed. They were like, "Hey man, this is really not fair that we put in the effort and time and this guy didn't and he's getting to roll against us who deserve it." And I ended up going back on that decision because they were absolutely right. You absolutely should not let there's a saying by Kale in League of Legends, different game. The moment justice bends, it breaks. You have to have a strong backbone. You can't just bend to every whim and need of people like this because they're gonna take one step and take a mile. And I should have never even said, you know what, just bring Rand, I'll give you one roll. You are a tank, you are consistent. Kiss on you would benefit the raid, but it is also about uh dedication, time, effort put in. So anyhow, that is most of that guy's story. There was some other point I wanted to make with this dude that it was pretty much just oh, right, sorry. Because this happened first, this guy, I never let any of that affect me. This event happened later than this one. This one was first. This was a second guy that came after. I was like, no man, this rule is pretty clear cut. You can't SR it without having a strike, and he just ended up straight quitting. This guy did quit after I was like, dude, sorry, but just rend alone wasn't good enough to SR the trinket. Farmers strike like everyone else. We treat everyone equally here. It's not about your status in life that gives you priority. But anyway, I know I rambled on long about that, dude. So I'm gonna move on to what else did I have here? Let's see. Yeah, those are the two examples. Is strike, yada yada. Oh yeah, and um, don't give leeway because again, a lot of other people will notice. They'll see this, and you might lose more people trying to keep this one guy. Trying to appease this one guy is gonna make you lose more people, and if you want to kill your guild, go ahead and do that. Um. Anyhow, yeah, I think that's enough for today. If you want to kill your guild, have no clear goals or directions, don't foster or build a community, don't build relationships with people, don't get to know people, um, bend over backwards for everyone and anything for any reason. Let people step on you, let people take advantage of you. Really good way to kill your guild that I would suggest. Um, yeah, and by the way, those people when they quit, it's a good thing for you, so don't get too mad or upset in the moment. A lot of people like to get, "Oh no, we're gonna lose this item if this person quits." Guys, it is better for you, it is better for your long-term health and longevity of your guild to filter out these people anyway. So that goes into the point of not bending over backwards and all that shit. Um yeah, you know what? If this video gets 50 likes, I'll do another part 2 follow-up on more ways to kill your guild. That'll be fun. So, speak through action if you want to see that. Uh, if you want to raid with us on Whitemane Classic Era Alliance, the Discord link should be on the screen somewhere. Yeah, it should be right there. So discord.gg/Phoenix Classic. We're kind of cool. We have a universal invite link because the server is at a level 3 boost. Um, Join the Discord even if you don't want to raid with us. If you want to talk to me, I'm in there quite a bit. DM me on Discord. I don't know. We can talk for hours. Maybe you run a guild, want some advice or something. Let's be friends. Always cool to meet new people on WoW and see new perspectives and learn things, guys. I learn things in my raid almost every week. It's really fun that you can raid this game for 2 years and see something new. Um, Oh, yeah, we need priests that can heal. We need warriors that can do damage. We need mages that can press DK. So if you're any of those and you want to raid Naxxramas on a Classic Era Whitemane Alliance, Tuesday 5 p.m. server time is when we raid. That is 8 p.m. EST, in case you're wondering. And yeah, if you want any idea what the raid looks like, I have uploaded every single Phoenix Naxxramas VOD to this channel for the past almost 2 years now. So you can go back to when we were progging, you can go back to last raid, you can go back to 6 months ago, take a sneak peek what it looks like in our raid, maybe if it fits for you. Um, yeah, and again, even if you don't care to raid, if you just want to make some friends, hang out, learn what we're about, then feel free to join. Anyway, have a great day. A great day. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you if I make another video or in Discord or raid or something. Peace out.